Welcome. If you just built a mobile app using AI and now you're wondering how the heck do I get this into the App Store, you are in the right place. I'm here to show you how Expo and Expo application services help you turn your idea into a real app that people can actually download from the App Store. Let's dive in. Before you start, you're going to need an Apple Developer account and an Expo account. So go ahead and create those accounts and then come back. We recommend starting with the App Store. Apple is simpler to get going. That said, I'm going to leave some helpful links to our documentation in case you want to learn more about deploying to the Play Store. So I have here an application that I backcoded yesterday using Bolt, and the first step is download the code. Whether you are using Kiki, Rork, or something else, just go ahead and download the code. This gives you the actual files we'll be working with. Here I have my project, so let's double click. And I'm going to rename this to be HydroTrack. That's the name of my app. Now we'll move from a sandbox, in this case Bolt.new, where you design the app, to the real world, where we launch it. So to access these files, view them, and update them, we recommend using Cursor. Cursor is a code editor and allows you to make updates and inspect your app's code. It comes with AI and it's free to get started, so you can download it for free. So after you install Cursor, open it and then select Open Project. I'll go to my downloads and select my HydroTrack project. Press Open, and here we have it. This is my HydroTrack application project, and on the left I have the code that conforms my application. Now we're going to install something called dependencies. That's just a fancy developer word for the building blocks your application needs to work. Think of these dependencies like the ingredients in a recipe. Your app can run without them. But before we can install those building blocks, we need a tool called Node.js. So back to our browser, I'm going to search for Node.js, and it's actually the first result. Node.js is a behind-the-scenes engine that helps run JavaScript on your computer. You don't need to write any code, but your app was built with code behind the scenes. And Node helps make sure everything runs smoothly. So press the download Node.js LTS to download it. So this is how Node.js looks after I downloaded it. From here, just double click it and install it. Let's go back to Cursor. Next, we need to open a terminal. In the top menu, select Terminal and then press New Terminal. This is going to open this window that we can use to type commands. So the first thing, just to make sure that you installed Node correctly, you can type node-v after installing it and hit enter. This is going to let you know the version that your computer is using. In my case, it's 22. This means that I installed Node correctly. When you install Node.js, it also gives you another tool called npm, which stands for Node Package Manager. That's what we'll use to actually install dependencies. So after that, I'm going to type npm node package manager install and hit enter. Now this is going to do some stuff, which is basically just installing the dependencies that my project needs. Awesome, and that's done. Now I'm going to make this window a bit smaller, and on the left, I'm going to scroll down and select this app.json file. So click on it to see the content of this file. This is where you tell Expo the basics of your app. So before I go live, I want to change the name of my application. So I'm going to change this to be HydroTrack. That's the actual name of my application. The slug is a unique identifier for your application within your Expo account. So make sure to use lowercase and no spaces. So I'm gonna say -track, or I can just say HydroTrack like that. Just make sure to don't add spaces in here. If you want, you can change the version as well, but 1.0 it's fine with me. This is a good point to change the icon of your application as well. Right now, it's pointing to the folder Assets Images icon. On the left, you can see this Assets folder. If you click on it, you're going to see that we have this Images folder, and inside of it, we have this icon, which is basically the path that we are specifying for my application. If I click on it, I can see the icon that my application is going to use. I don't have a better icon at the moment, so I'm going to use this one. But if you want to learn how to create a beautiful icon, I'm going to leave the link to a video that I created showing you how to create an icon step by step. Next, change the scheme of your app to be the name of your application, all in lowercase. Now we're ready to save this file. To save this file, you can go to File and press Save, or you can use the shortcut Command S. So I'm going to save this file And now we are ready to run npx TestFlight. So back to our terminal, I'm going to make this window bigger. And in my terminal, I'm going to type npx TestFlight. This is the magic command. I'm going to hit enter. This command sends your app to Apple as a draft. Just say yes to everything it asks. You don't have to understand it all. Just trust the process. So in here, I'm going to say yes. I also recommend using the defaults. So I'm just going to hit enter, and this is going to use the value that it was suggesting before. So this is asking me a bunch of questions basically to create the project in my Expo account and using my credentials. So I'm going to say yes to everything basically. It's asking me for a bundle identifier. I'm going to hit enter. Then we have another question. I'm going to say yes. Now this is where we need our Apple Developer account. It's asking me to log in. So I'm going to say yes as well. Then I need to enter my email and my password. Then I need to select my team. So just hit enter. Okay. Then it's doing more stuff and it's asking me about certificates. So just go ahead and say yes to everything. Another question, just say yes. Another question, say yes. So if you notice all the feedback that this command is giving us, it's basically explaining what it does under the hood. Right now it created my application. But if you actually notice, the HydroTrack app name was already taken, but that didn't stop the command. It generated a new name, HydroTrack, with this number, which ensures that this name is unique. It's great actually because I can change that before I go live. Then I have another question. I'm gonna say yes. The build is in progress and this might take a few minutes. So go stretch, grab a water, or touch some grass. All right, we did it, guys. As you can see here, the build was finished and it also was submitted to App Store Connect. You don't need to do anything, especially if you are an admin in your Apple Developer account. At any moment now, I should get an email inviting me to test this app. And after a moment, I got the email, as you can see here, to start testing my HydroTrack application. So if you notice, the call to action says view in TestFlight. TestFlight, it's an application that you can download from the App Store and it allows you to access beta apps and view updates. So go ahead, install it and sign in with your Apple credentials and then come here and press this button. This is going to take you to the app and it's going to open your application where you can press install. All right, and now I can open my app. Awesome, and it's asking me to send notifications, so I'm going to allow, and this is the real thing. This is the production app, and I can start tracking how much water I drink per day. At this moment, I am the only one that has access to this application because I'm the only admin in my Apple Developer account. And by default, this command is going to invite only admins. So let's go to Apple Connect where we can invite more people and submit our app for review. Okay, I'm in the Apple Developer page. I'm going to click on account, sign in with your Apple credentials, and then you can find this apps option here. So just click on it. So as you notice, I have now this HydroTrack app. I didn't create anything here. I didn't do anything. It's just here because we ran the command. So let's click on it. This is a place where you enter the information of your app. At the moment, my app is in a draft state. So if you click on TestFlight, which is where the testing happens, you should see the builds that you create using Expo. If I scroll down a bit, you're going to find the internal testing group. This internal testing group was automatically created when we ran the command and it invites all the admins of the account. You can manually add more people just by clicking in this Expo internal group and they will receive the latest version of your application each time that you run npx TestFlight. If you want to be able to share this application with more people still in beta testing, you can create an external testing group. So I'm going to create one quickly and press create. Then we just need to add a build. We already have a build, which is this one. Let's go ahead and select that. Okay, so from here, I'm going to fill in my test information and press next. Then just a simple text for testers and then submit for review. I'm going to show you an example of an external beta testing that I'm running. This application called Quick Call AI. I'm running an external testing. And once your application is approved for external testing, you will get a link like this one that you can share with anyone and they can install it directly using TestFlight. You can invite up to 10,000 people. If 10,000 people is not enough for you, you can submit your application to the App Store by clicking on the distribution tab and then fill all the information of your application. Now, an important part is that you need to select the build that you want to submit for production. So just select the build that you just created. Once you are done filling all the information, just press save on the top right, and then you can add this build for review. Right now, this is going to give me a bunch of errors because I didn't provide any info, but let me show you how this looks once you provide everything. I have this application called Shopping List app. This is an app that is available in the App Store right now. And this is how it looks. Here I have the screenshots, promotional text, description, marketing URL, my build. This is the latest build. Once you are ready to create a new version of your app, you can always go back to the code and increase the version. For example, if you made changes, you can change this to be 1.0.1, run npx TestFlight again, and that is going to generate a new build. Then you can create a new release. In fact, I'm creating a new release for this app. The only requirement is that the version needs to increase. So my next version is 1.5.6. Once you add all this information, just press the submit button and Apple will review your application. Sometimes they ask for changes. Don't panic, that's normal. And you did it. You took your AI built application and with the help of Expo and Expo application services, you shipped it to the App Store. No code, no stress, just results. If you need extra help or info, check the description for resources. I hope you like this video. I hope you learned something new, and I'll see you in the next one.